another live episodes. Just the two of us today. No Baron. He is sunning it up in Weymouth. Well, he was for a day. I think it's got cloudy now.
Sky then.
He will find a way to enjoy it. It's been a bit of a boring week, football-wise, but we got plenty to talk about. So we're going to crack on first with our all-time England 11. So I'm going to do two separate teams and have a little discussion about who's left out more than who's in, I think.
Yeah, so many options here, isn't there?
Yeah. Big names left out. I'm actually changing one as we speak.
So you still can't decide, and we're live.
No, I have. It's my goalkeeper.
Crazy.
I was choosing between two, and then
Oh, really?
I've gone for it. Yeah. I've gone for the one that I first thought in my head.
So, are you going to go through your whole team, or we're going to do position by position?
Yeah, we'll go position by position. We can have a little chat about it then as we're talking about it.
All right. Let's do it.
Right, so I'll go with my goalkeeper then. I didn't go with David Seaman. I went with David James.
Of course, I'm shout. David James over David Seaman.
From what I remember watching, obviously I was old enough and I watched David Seaman play for England, but not a great deal.
Yes, fair enough.
It was David James and then Paul Robinson, and I went picking Paul Robinson.
I mean, to be honest,
I had Seaman, but I went with David James in the end.
But after David Seaman, there was just like a black hole of goalkeepers, and like we went through James and Robinson and Rob Green and probably Scott Carson at some point, or we just went through like a whole, and they were all just rubbish. And then we landed on Jordan Pickford, and he's been like the best keeper since David Seaman for me. I obviously went with David Seaman. I just thought, yeah, he is. I could have gone back, I've gone for someone like Bob Wilson or something stupid, but I never watched him play, so I'm not. I didn't. I stayed with David.
No, I've got no one in that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Who did you go right back?
This was a tough one. I was torn between Gary Neville and Kyle Walker, and I went with Kyle Walker in the end. I think Kyle Walker's probably top 5 in the world. So he went in for me. We agree on Kyle Walker.
Agreed on that. I went with Kyle Walker. It wasn't even a thought process. As soon as I started writing it down, right back was Kyle Walker.
He was like the first one that went in. Like he went in before Seaman. I did think about Gary Neville, but I couldn't think of any other right back that was in the conversation. It was between those two.
Kieran Trippier possibly. But...
yeah, I mean, for moments, for what he did against, Croatia, that free kick, and for moments. But then, if we were saying moments, it means we're putting Luke Shaw in for scoring in the Euros final, which I didn't.
Yeah, no, both of us have got the same left back.
Yeah, we'll go into that now. Then, as we're on it, I'll go with Ashley Cole. Yeah, he is one of the best left backs in the world. Best English left back ever, maybe.
Easily. I hope so. He's in my all-time England 11.
Well, I mean, obviously, there's players that we haven't seen, but I would say, he's the best English left back.
Yeah, I think he's top 3 in ever as left backs, not just England, just in the whole world to play football.
Yeah, I mean, when we did our top 5 left backs, he was in all of ours, wasn't he?
He's all our top 3. Yeah, I think he was in all our top 3s.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. Who's your centre back partnership?
So centre backs were a bit harder because we've had some decent centre backs, I think, over the years. But I did go with Sol Campbell and John Terry. I couldn't get Ferdinand in.
I went exactly the same.
I thought, John Terry is just, I couldn't stand him, but he was one of the best defenders ever. And Sol Campbell was brilliant as well. Yeah,
no, I went exactly the same. Campbell and Terry. I felt a bit bad for Rio, leaving him out, but I couldn't pick him over there, any of them two.
And it's funny because when they were all playing, I went 4-4-2.
Oh, did you? I went 4-3-3.
Okay. This will be interesting, and at least I'll be a bit different.
Yeah.
So you went 3 central midfielders.
Yeah.
So who did you go for?
My holding midfielder is Owen Hargreaves.
That's a shout.
player. I thought he was so good. Well underrated.
I thought he was all right. He was underrated. He was all right.
Not at Man United. Oh, he went to Man United and he had his injuries in the end of his career and stuff like that.
Yeah, he was good at Bayern Munich. He was good.
He was brilliant. I really liked him.
Okay. All right. So who are your other two?
Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
And Gaza.
Yeah, I thought you'd go Gaza. I couldn't put him in. I've not seen him played for England. I know that he probably should be in here, but yeah, because I've not seen him play, I kept to my rule. So my two midfielders are Lampard and Gerrard. I still don't get how a lot of these players played at the same time. I just have no idea how we did with anything. Like,
I saw this the other day. I saw it on thingy, like the picture that's always comes up every now and again. It says, "How didn't this team win anything?"
Yeah.
And the only answer is because there was teams better. Brazil had Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Cafu.
Yeah, I mean Brazil did have an unreal team, but other than Brazil,
France, Henry,
Zidane. France had. Yeah, okay, I suppose.
If you go through them, like that's why we didn't win anything because there was just better teams at that point. Unfortunately,
we were getting knocked out by Portugal every year. I mean, I know they had like Ronaldo, Figo, sort of in that crossover.
Exactly. Even if you go through them, like Rui Costa and fucking
Ricardo Carvalho.
And you know what we do with our players? We build them up. They're probably not even that good.
No, but then Greece go ahead and win Euro 2004, and it's just like, surely we had a better team than Greece.
Yeah, Denmark won it, didn't they?
And we got knocked out by Portugal, didn't we?
And to be fair, we've got unlucky in a few tournaments.
That Sol Campbell header that was where he fouled John Terry and they gave a foul. That was, and then you had that, was it Lampard that hit against Germany where it went in, but there was no goal on technology.
Yeah, I still think we would have got hammered that game.
Yeah, that
was when like Germany were absolutely outrageous. There was all just came through at the same time.
Yeah, they had Lahm, Müller. Who did that? Close, still knocking about.
Yeah,
Gomez.
They had a crazy team.
Yeah, crazy team.
So you've gone. So who are your wingers?
So I've got right and left. So yeah, my two midfielders are Gerrard and Lampard, and then my two wingers are on the right. I've gone with David Beckham, and on the left, I've gone with Joe Cole. Wasn't really sure who else to put in. Beckham has to go in there. He's, was England captain. I know I didn't want to do it based on moments, but he was a good player. I do think that people did sort of, I don't know, they said he was all about his free kicks, and he did score a lot of good free kicks, but it's not like Ward-Prowse, where Ward-Prowse pretty much only has his set pieces. Beckham was a good player like himself. He wasn't playing around Madrid just because he could take a free kick. So, yeah, Beckham's gone in there. And Joe Cole, I think, is really underrated as well. He was really good at Chelsea. And he was good for England as well. He sort of came in, didn't he? Because Paul Scholes was playing on that left-hand side, and it was beautiful. He wasn't. And Joe Cole came in and gave us that extra sort of dimension. So Joe Cole and Beckham for me.
Beckham was my right midfielder. I touched on what you said. He's probably one of the most underrated football players of all time.
Yeah, he's very underrated because he's such a brand.
I think people don't rate him because he's a star.
Yeah.
And because of like his brand and that. But as a footballer, he was ridiculously good. So he's there. I didn't go with Joe Cole.
Oh God, here we go.
I went with Phil Foden.
No. Get up and walk away. He's barely even played for England.
I've gone with him.
He's a quality player. Like, if ability, I get it.
But I haven't done it on what they've done for England, because if that, we'd have no players.
Well, yeah, we have to pick somebody, don't we? And no one's won anything, have they? But
I've done it on football players that are English, and Phil Foden is the best left-sided football player England probably ever produced.
Big shout. We'll definitely.
I think he's better than Joe Cole
for TikTok. I think he will be better than Joe Cole. Paul Scholes ain't getting in, but I think that's a huge shout at this stage to say Phil Foden gets in an all-time England 11. I'd love to know what people think about that. That's crazy for me.
Who are your strikers?
So I've got two strikers. There's a few strikers obviously that have been left out because I can only pick two. But I went with Wayne Rooney and Harry Kane. Michael Owen and Alan Shearer I was weighing up, but I just think that Rooney and Kane probably did more over a longer period of time for England. Just so I put them in.
I've actually left Kane out. I did not put England's greatest goal scorer in my all-time England 11.
I mean, I nearly didn't. I didn't want to, but I put Rooney in first, and then I was torn on Kane.
Rooney's mine as well.
Yeah.
I think the link up between him, Gazza, and Foden in my team would be absolutely outrageous.
With Beckham as well, pinging balls left and right.
Just to be fair, get rid of the other players and just let Gazza, Foden, and Rooney play football. That's enough.
I would be, yeah, it would be crazy.
I did really want to put Michael Owen in because he, at one point, was the best footballer on the planet.
Yeah, he just didn't have it for long enough. That was the only thing with Owen. That's why I didn't put him in.
But yeah, he didn't quite make it. I was going to do a manager, but then I thought they're all absolutely dog shit. Every single one of them.
Yeah, I couldn't choose a manager. The first manager I remember for England was Sven-Göran Eriksson. That's the first manager that was manager of England when I started watching football. And since then, we've had Steve McLaren, Fabio Capello. I don't even remember the rest. Obviously Southgate. I'm sure
I remember Terry Venables. He was all right.
I don't remember that. Hoddle was before that, wasn't
he? Yeah. Or after, or just after, I think.
How about we put Big Sam as the manager because he's the only one that didn't lose for England. The one game that he managed. Big Sam.
Definitely not putting Southgate in.
No. So, just to recap then, my team is David Seaman, Ashley Cole, Sol Campbell, John Terry, Kyle Walker, Joe Cole, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard, David Beckham, Wayne Rooney, and Harry Kane.
And I went David James in goal. My left back was Ashley Cole, right back Kyle Walker, two centre-backs of Campbell and Terry. I went for three in the middle, Hargreaves holding, Lampard and Gerrard, and then Beckham, Foden, Rooney up front.
So 4-3-3 and a 4-4-2. We'll put them up on social media. Let's see whose is better.
And let's see what kind of abuse my Foden shout gets.
I don't know if it's the Foden or the David James that's going to get more abuse.
Yeah, true.
The David James shout was big.
Yeah, I just can't remember us having any. I really rate Foden, but I've spoken about him too often. We'll move on.
You put him in goal. You do a Baron. Foden in goal. Foden at left back. Foden at centre back.
I just think that Gazza, Foden, and Rooney that would be mad. I'd love to see that. But I didn't watch the England-Ukraine game.
Oh,
so you can talk about this.
I mean, I spoke about it a little bit on TikTok, but yeah, it was awful. We are so boring. And I've been watching Arsenal this season, and teams sit behind the ball, and it's boring. But this was like a new level of boring. This was like, it didn't even look like we were trying to win. We had like nothing. Like Saka couldn't get into the game at all. It was just. I just don't know why we play with such defensive-minded players. Like Bellingham had a shocker. He was the worst display I've ever seen for England, Jude Bellingham, and he was trying to make things happen. It just weren't coming off for him, and the defense was just a nightmare. I don't know if you've seen that image of Harry Maguire marking the other centre back for the Zinchenko goal.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah. But to be honest, I said this at the time. I actually thought that it was Rice that should have been tracking Zinchenko from midfield rather than centre backs. So I just think that, overall, it was just like a really bad display. I hope we're better against Scotland. Ukraine, though, really good. I was actually really impressed with them because they were good defensively. Like the reason we were so bad is because they were really good in what they were doing, and they broke and got their goal and sort of sat on it. And we were quite lucky to come away with that with a point. But yeah, really boring to watch. It's a shame when you're 4 games into a Premier League season and you have to pause it to watch that.
I was so glad I was away this weekend. I won't watch it tomorrow. I've got no interest. I fucking love football. I've got no interest in watching it until it gets to we're going to qualify. And the games are boring. Southgate is boring. I did see your TikTok
That's
the other day about saying we've got world-class players. I thought about it. We haven't. We have not. Our team is
you don't think we've got
average.
any world class players?
I think we've got
They're an
3.
average team.
I think we've got
Yeah.
3, possibly 4. But 2 of them aren't world-class right this second.
No, too young.
Maybe 3 of them. The only one true world-class player we've got is Harry Kane. Right this moment in time.
Yeah, I think. I mean, this might be again controversial. I think Kyle Walker's world class. He's in the prime of his career, although he's starting to go down the other side. But I think you can still say he's world class. We've just said he's in the top 5 right backs of like all time, pretty much. I do think Kyle Walker is. I think that you've got players like. I don't think Rashford will ever be world class. That's my opinion. I think he is what he is. He'll always be a quality player, but he'll never be world class. I think Saka needs a few more years. He's still too young, but he will be world class. Same with Foden, really. And yeah, Kane's obviously the one. He's in his prime and he is world class. But yeah, I do think that we should be beating teams like Ukraine.
100%. 100% we should be beating Ukraine. But yeah, I was just looking at the team and I think Bellingham, Foden, Saka are definitely, they will be world class.
Yeah,
like they
100%.
will be right up there. And Harry Kane, that's it. When he goes, we're screwed. Unless someone pops up
we've
like
got
a
no
Wayne
one,
Rooney or something, or Michael Owen.
some young kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking of Bellingham, did you see the stat about him? It was actually mentioned in the game, but you obviously didn't watch it. Real Madrid have scored 6 goals as a team this season. Jude Bellingham, a midfielder, has scored 5 of them.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's mental. I know he's been scoring for Real Madrid, but that's crazy. Like he's managed to get 5 of the 6 goals.
But then apart from that, we're going to be playing a centre. Maguire's going to be playing, which
it's crazy.
blows my mind.
He's just not playing. He's not playing at all, is he? I mean, Henderson, that's the one, right? I don't get why Jordan Henderson, I don't mind him so much, in the squad. I don't think that his level would drop when I was watching him. I just don't think we need Henderson and Rice in the same team against a team that's just going to sit behind the ball.
No, we don't. We don't need him in there at all if Rice is playing. But who else goes in? I mean, we haven't got all these amazing players that everyone talks about. Who goes in if Henderson's not playing?
I don't get why we can't have Rice Holding in these tough away games where the teams are going to sit behind the ball. I don't get why we can't have Rice Holding, Bellingham, and Foden in the middle. I don't get why we can't do that. Even Grealish, they can both do that role in the middle because they can both beat a player. Foden. Yeah, I know he doesn't play. That's what I mean. I don't know why he doesn't, because Foden can get past the man. That's all it needs is someone to beat the press, and then we're through. But we don't. I mean, Jordan Henderson's not going to dribble it past anyone and break the lines. I just don't get why he's in the team when we've got Declan Rice in the team, who is, the one, isn't he? He's going to be that player for the next few years.
Yeah, I agree. I love Henderson, obviously, but he's done now. He's not a top international.
I don't mind him in the squad, to come on if we're defending a lead or whatever, and we're taking Saka off or something and bringing on Henderson to shore it up. Fine with that, no problem. I just don't get why.
And he's probably good in the changing rooms.
Yeah. It's good to have around the squad.
But
yeah, that place could have gone to someone that. I mean, okay, I know it's a bit favoritism. I'm going to harp on about Eddie Nketiah now, but I know that he's in the squad, right? And they called him up to have a look at him, and and I know he's not good enough to play for England. He's not one of England's top 4 strikers. I know that, but it's why call him up and then not even put him on the bench? It's crazy. I don't get it. I just don't get the point.
Southgate, he's a strange fella, but I just hate international football. I think it's just there's no point in these qualifiers because, especially in the next World Cup, isn't it 40 odd teams or something stupid like that?
Yeah, I think these are for Euros, though, aren't they?
Yeah, but the next one's going to be even more pointless.
Yeah,
we're going to qualify. It's going to happen. So
but I'll say that only applies to us.
Boring 90 minutes of all time.
It's boring for us, but then there's teams out there that Scotland's and your Wales and whatever that this means a lot to them because they might not qualify. I think was it Ireland or I don't know if it was Northern Ireland or Republic of Ireland. I think it was Northern Ireland that they got knocked out on the last round. They can't qualify now. So I guess like it's just because we know we're going to qualify. I personally think, and I was thinking about this when you was talking about international football the other day. I think that the way they should do it is they should do the whole qualifying round in the summer. Like I know that it's going to restrict players' holidays, but in the summer where there is no tournament, just do it like you do a World Cup. Do a group stage like you do a World Cup group stage. Play them all, get it all done in 2 weeks, and then leave the seasons to just run how they run. Like having it break up the season like this is just so disruptive. I just think that it would fans would get into it more if you're like, right, it's the summer, the season's over, there's no football on. Let's watch 2 weeks of England. People would, I think people would be all right with that.
I don't think the players would be all right with that.
No, I don't think the players would be because they wouldn't get a holiday.
And I probably still won't watch it. I don't see any point of watching England versus Malta. There is no point.
No.
If it's not 10-0, we've embarrassed ourselves.
Yeah.
It's just pointless.
It is really boring. It is pointless.
Yeah.
But then we couldn't. But what can we do? Because we can't just like say, okay, England and France and Brazil and all that, they will automatically qualify and don't have to. They can't.
Oh
do
yeah,
that,
you still have to do it. I'm not saying they should scrap it. They have to do it. But I just got no interest in it. It just bores the life out of me.
Yeah. I do think that they need to, I think the Nations League was a mistake. I get what they were trying to do, but I just think that's just. I just think that's.
You know what though? It's a bit better than it was a bit better than just the pointless friendly against Georgia.
But the thing is, we still get the pointless friendlies. Like we've got Scotland tomorrow. That's friendly, isn't it? That doesn't mean anything. I don't know why we chose to play Scotland, who are going to be out to like literally play the game of their lives, even though it's a friendly because it's Derby, and probably try and injure all our players. Like I don't get why we've scheduled that as a friendly. Like play if we have to, but I don't get why we've scheduled that. It's a strange decision.
Yeah, and we'll win 1-0.
Yeah, or draw because we did last time, didn't we?
This takes us in nicely to the next England manager because he has to go now. Like he just has to. He's done all right. He's got us to a final. He got us to a quarter final and a semi-final. He's done all right. He's not good enough to get us. We should have beat Italy.
Yeah.
There's no way that we should have lost that game. We should have beat him. I think any good, not even great, I think any good manager would have won us that Euros.
Especially after we won in front.
I think Big Sam would have won it.
Yeah, probably. I think
who is your choice for the next?
I mean, I'd love to see Pep do it. I think it would be brilliant. I just think he's very he's just very reactive, isn't he? Like flexible with things. Like he's the trendsetter. Like you've got all these teams now they were all doing the inverted fullback thing because he was doing it, and now everyone's still trying to buy all these inverted fullbacks, and now he's on to playing 4 centre backs in defence. Like he doesn't wait for other people. He will look at the team, look at what works, and he'll change it. And he's not scared to make big decisions. Like I get in a few big games, like I think in the Champions League final against Chelsea, he was tinkering with that team, and it probably cost him it. But what manager hasn't got a game like that in their record, the way they've sort of blew it? I think that he's the best manager in the world, and I'd love to see him as England manager.
I'd like to see him. I can't see it happening. I'm really worried about who are the bookies' favourites to take it.
Who are the bookies' favourites? I haven't even seen that.
So this is just odds checker. So I don't know. I think it is, but Graham Potter is favourite.
Oh my word!
And then it gets Lee Carsley. Fair enough. He's doing well at the under-21s, but we just made that mistake with Gareth Southgate. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Eddie Howe. Why are you going to leave Newcastle? Why you're a young man? I get it if you're a bit older. At the moment, unless you get sacked by Newcastle this season, I don't know why you would take it at his age.
But Potter's can't be much older than him.
Yeah, but he's out of work, ain't he?
He is
if
out
you're
of
out of work, you're not going to turn it down. And I can't see him getting another job after what he's done with Chelsea.
Yeah, so why would England take him if? You're exactly right. He shouldn't. Yeah.
And then you've got Steven Gerrard. I swear to God, right? If England appoints Steven Gerrard, we might as well keep Gareth Southgate.
Yeah. I'd rather have Southgate than Gerrard and Lampard.
I might as well do it.
I'll be your
Lampard is not on
assistant.
the list. Steve Cooper,
Who? Steve Cooper, is that the
Forest
Forest?
manager.
Yeah. Actually, I do actually
Pochettino,
like him.
wouldn't mind him.
Not for England, but I do like Steve Cooper, actually.
I wouldn't mind Poch. He's on the list.
I wouldn't mind Poch. I think he'd be good
Serena
for international
Weigman
manager.
is next.
Oh, my word. How about someone like... I mean, we would never get someone like Simeone, would we? We wouldn't get an Argentinian to manage England, but...
Wow,
It'd have to
it
be a
gets worse
European.
though, because after Serena Weigman, which is shocking anyway, shouldn't be anywhere near that. There's Rooney, Carrick, Lampard, and Steve Holland.
You know what? Steve Holland. You know what? The Michael Carrick hype, because he got a few good results for Middlesbrough. I mean, they're doing atrocious now, aren't they, this season?
Yeah.
I just play... If they're English, they just get hyped up like crazy if they start...
Yeah.
They put a few wins together. They're proper hyped up.
I'm telling you, man, just go and give Mourinho whatever he wants and just get him in. Just get us a tournament one. I don't care how it's done. Just get it done.
Yeah.
And he'll get it done.
Because like those quarterfinals and semi-finals and finals that Southgate's got us to, like you said, another manager would have won us those. Like with the squad that we have, Croatia in the semi-final, was it semi-final of the World Cup? I mean, if you'd have said that to any England fan before the tournament started, we would have bit your hand off for that draw. Croatia in a semi-final, like that's, and then we lost.
The Italy game, I don't think. I know obviously it was the players that played, but Mancini beat Southgate. I don't think it was like that's what I think anyway. If you swap their managers around, same result happens.
I think the only thing with Italy is like they had some proper experienced players on there. They had like your Chiellini and your Bonucci. I do think that they had a bit more nous, but England were the better team. Like they had the better squad. I think that Italy with their manager and their team were just more. They were just better. They were wiser than us, weren't they? They knew what it took to win.
Southgate just makes strange decisions, defensive shit football. He'll play the two tomorrow again. I'll guarantee he'll play Henderson and Rice tomorrow. What is the point?
Away at Scotland. I think it's a friendly. I think that he needs to try new players. Like he's got all these players in the squad, and if he plays Henderson, Rice, all the same players again, I don't want to see Calvin Phillips. Is he even in the squad?
I think Calvin Phillips. He made the squad.
I mean, I don't want to see him. I don't want to see Harry Maguire. They don't play for their teams. Like we know what they can do. I don't want to see them. I want to see Eddie Nketiah, not just because he's an Arsenal player, but because he hasn't played for England yet. It's a friendly. It's a throwaway game. We can put him in. Foden, give him some minutes. Put him in maybe a different position. Maybe put him in a 10. See what he can do. Like I just don't get why we're just doing the same thing. It's just so boring, and it's not advancing.
Saying that, if I was an England manager, I probably wouldn't change it too much. Even the friendlies, I don't see the point in just giving a guy a game because you want to see what he's like. You can see him play for every single week. And when people go, "Oh, he doesn't play for his thing," it doesn't matter, right? If Rooney was out the whole season and he came back a week before Euros, he'd be in the team.
Oh yeah, I mean someone like Rooney is good enough, but you can't put Maguire on the same level as Rooney.
Who else are you going to put in Maguire though? Who else takes Maguire's place in that England team? Right. I
mean, if Stones went injured, it'd be John Stones, but obviously Stones.
But he would have been Stones and Maguire, I think, if they were both fit.
Yeah, probably would have been. But I think that Guehi did an all right job. At least he's playing for Palace at the moment. I don't think he really did anything wrong.
I just don't. Yeah.
Do you know who else? Right, that slaughtered me for this. Right, and I know I slagged him off at the start of the season, but actually I've been watching him, and he's actually been quite impressive. Lewis Dunk for Brighton. He's been all right. He's not actually a bad defender. He's just not a fancy name. His name's Lewis Dunk. He's from Brighton. Like, he's not Ronaldinho. He's not got a fancy name or whatever. But you know what? I actually think he would do a job in that England team. Like, not necessarily started a World Cup final, but I think he could do a job probably better than Maguire.
I don't see it.
No,
I don't see the point of just. I don't rate him. I just think Maguire plays well for England. I don't understand why we're just we can't play because he doesn't play for his club. Does it really matter?
If he was like a rotation for his club, and he was like coming in on Carabao Cup or whatever, or he was playing 30 minutes here, 20 minutes here. Like I know he came on against Arsenal, but that was literally because 4 of their centre backs are now injured. He will not play a single game. Like they are literally trying to ship him off. He's refusing to go to West Ham because of the wages or whatever. I just don't think he at the moment he's all right, but I think he's just going to get worse over time because he's just not getting the football.
I don't think it makes sense. Yeah, but he trains every day. They play games every day, don't they? It's not like he's just sitting on his ass and not kicking a ball around. I just think, obviously, Southgate likes him. Southgate thinks he's a good player. And if Southgate thinks that Harry Maguire that doesn't play football is better than Lewis Dunk, then that's his decision. I ain't got a problem with that. I'd do the same if I thought that. If John Stones came back, if John Stones hadn't played a game all season and then came back a week before, he'd be in the team because he's better than everything else we've got.
I'd just be interested to see if somebody like a Guardiola or Mourinho did come in, if they would do what Southgate's done with these players, like Phillips and Maguire, and would he pick them? Like, I'd be interested to see. Maybe he would.
Some he would, some he wouldn't. It depends, doesn't it? If you're good enough, and obviously Southgate does think they're good enough.
Yeah.
The Calvin Phillips one I don't get because I don't actually think he's that good a football player either.
No, he's ruined his career by going to Man City. I don't know why he did it. He must have known that he weren't getting in that team.
Surely, like there's Rodri, the best defensive midfielder on the planet, is in front of him. What do you think? He's just going to be like, oh yeah.
And at the time they had Gundogan, who wasn't a defensive midfielder but could slot in there. Like, you know what? I respect people more that go to Saudi because at least Saudi, you're getting loads of money like you are at City, but at least you're playing every week at Saudi. At least you're playing football. Like he's literally gone to sit on the bench.
One more thing about England. I know you said Lewis Dunk. If we start playing players like Lewis Dunk for England, we're saying we've got a great team and we should be winning the World Cup and the Euros, and we got to play players like Lewis Dunk.
Our defence is. We don't have the depth in centre back really, other than John Stones. We don't. I don't.
We don't have the depth in the squad. We don't have a depth. We don't have any depth whatsoever. Take Kane out. Who have you got? Ollie Watkins, Eddie Nketiah, not good enough to play high
Callum
level
Wilson, even Tony. No, they're not good enough to play the same level as Kane. I don't think many people are. There's probably 3 strikers in the world. Ivan Tony would be the natural replacement. Obviously, not available at the moment.
Bellingham doesn't play in centre mids. Who you got? James.
I suppose you're right.
Phillips.
It's the wings, isn't it? I don't rate him at all. I can't stand Conor Gallagher. I'm sorry. I watch him for Chelsea. He's bloody useless. He just runs around. He just don't do anything. He's a bit like Mason Mount.
Reckless. He works his ass off, but he's reckless.
Yeah, he just runs around. I don't rate him at all, Conor Gallagher. But yeah, no, you're probably right. We've got depth in the wings. That's about it. Because we can put Grealish there, we can put Foden, we can put Rashford, Sancho, Saka. Sancho's not even getting in the squad at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, the wings. But yeah, no, you're right. We don't have the depth anywhere else. Even in goal. In goal, I suppose we do have some depth because we've got Pickford, Ramsdale, Johnson, Pope. Even that new guy that's come through that's at Burnley now that won the under 21s or under 18s or whatever it was this summer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll be all right for a goalkeeper for a few years. We'll worry when Walker goes because Trippier's not young.
I mean, we've got Reece James, but as well, Reece James
he's always injured.
He's always injured. That's the problem with him. I was looking at him for this England
more than he does.
Yeah, I think he actually does. Like, I did look at him when I was looking at the England all-time 11 we just did. I thought, you know what, Reece James on ability, should he be in there? But he just don't play, does he? He's just never fit.
No.
Like, it's not put in there. But yeah.
But yeah, it's only because I was like, I actually had a proper look and I thought the squad's shocking. Like, it's actually not that great. If you take 3-4 of them players out, it's an average Premier League team. Average Premier League team.
But saying that, an average Premier League team beats most teams in other leagues. Like, the Premier League is very, very strong.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if you put them up against Brazil or France, Argentina, Portugal, they're going to get hammered.
Well, yeah. Every time we play a big team, we lose, don't we? I mean, I know we beat Germany in was it the World Cup, but we lost to France. I just feel like if we come up against a big team, we probably, especially with Southgate as the manager, we just do not have the mental strength.
We haven't got these superstars that everyone talks about. There's a few of them. There's a couple. Like I said, there's Foden, Saka, Bellingham, Kane. That's it. That's what we got.
They are hyped up. Yeah, they are hyped up because they're English, and that's the problem. Maybe it's the press that if they stop typing these players up, we'd see them for what they are.
Yeah, maybe. Right, we'll get away from England now. I can't wait for Premier League football to come back.
I know. I literally is there Friday night football this week?
I'm not sure
Bloody
actually.
hope so. Bloody hope so. Right on the
But
weekend.
I just wanted to quickly go on about the Balan d'Or because I saw no, there is no Friday, but Southampton Leicester is a Premier League game last year. That's on a Friday.
Oh, I'll have to give that a watch then. A bit of Championship.
Yeah, bit decent. Yeah, Ballon d'Or. I know Messi's won a World Cup, and if Haaland does not win that, I seen someone say this the other day. He should just not turn up. He should just say, "I'm out. I'm done." Because it's just mad if he doesn't win that.
Yeah, I wanna disagree with you because I think it would be a better conversation, but like Haaland's numbers are actually insane. Like they're record breaking. He's just won the treble. He's won the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and blew everything out of the water. He scored 4 goals against Leipzig in the Champions League or something like that as well. Like it's not like he was a squad player or a Scott Carlson picking up a treble or anything like that. Like he should be winning. He should be winning the Ballon d'Or, even though he's young. I think I think that Messi will win it. I do think he will because I think it's because he's won that World Cup and because it's his last chance and he deserves it because of what he's done in the past. But he doesn't deserve it this year. I'm a huge Messi fan. I'm Messi over Ronaldo. That me personally, I always have been. I think he's the best player ever. But I think this year Haaland should win the Ballon d'Or.
100%. I can't see any argument for Messi. He's won a World Cup, but so did every other Argentinian.
Yeah. Was he the captain? Does that get you any points?
I don't. Maybe,
but they will use anything.
For PSG, he was shocking, weren't he? He weren't great for PSG.
No, but they hated him over there as well, didn't they, the fans?
Yeah, they got nowhere in the Champions League. The guy's just won the treble with 50+ goals, whatever he scored throughout this season, in all competitions.
Yeah, crazy.
He has to win it. Like if I was him and I didn't win it, I just wouldn't go again. Because what actually is it, really?
Has anyone ever done that? Like not turned up to the ceremony?
They should.
Like favourites to win or whatever.
Yeah, it's like when Henri didn't win it and Nedved did.
Yeah, that was a fucking travesty.
They just should bother turning up. Because everyone knows who the best player in the world is last season. It was Erling Haaland.
Yeah, it was. It was by a million miles. Mbappe weren't anywhere near him. I mean, no one's even talking about Mbappe. Like he was supposed to be the next big thing, the best player in the world. No one's even. I mean, he's obviously nominated, but no one's counting him to win it. But I did want to point out somebody that wasn't nominated, and I thought it was interesting. It was the one that stood out to me. No nomination for Alisson at all.
Is there not?
There's no nomination for Alisson, and not that he was ever going to win it, but he's the best keeper in the world, right? For me, he's the best goalkeeper in the world.
Oh yeah, the only goalkeeper that got in was Onana.
Which is Onana. That's crazy. So Onana's got it. Okay, look, I know Liverpool didn't have the greatest season last season, but Alisson was all right. He was pretty decent. Liverpool would have been screwed without him.
Yeah, true. I mean, they didn't do nothing anyway with him, but
no, but I mean, how much can a goalkeeper do?
Yeah, true. But yeah, I would just be shocked if he doesn't win it. What can we just say? The first time in how many years that Ronaldo's not even on the shortlist?
Yeah, that's mental, and that's what happens, right? That is literally because he's gone to Saudi. If he'd have gone to the MLS, he would have been in there. I think that is European football saying "fuck you, Saudi," and with just if your players go there, you're no longer considered a footballer. Like that's what I feel like they're saying because he should be on the shortlist. Like I'm not saying he'd be near winning it.
Is it just European though, Ballon d'Or?
I think so. Is it? Oh, it might actually be. But I've seen a few news reports that have made a big thing of Ronaldo not being nominated. I don't actually know. It might just be European football.
To be
In which
fair, I
case,
don't.
they
If I
can't
was
because
just
Messi's
doing a list of
nominated.
the
He's in
best,
MLS.
oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah, good point. But yeah, if I was writing a list to say like 10 or thingy, probably I wouldn't have put Ronaldo in for last year. Didn't hardly play for Man United, did he? Didn't
Is
play
it
for quite a
30? Top
while.
30, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I've.
It might be borderline on one of the last ones. Suppose it's
Yeah,
not as bad, it could be worse. But yeah, it's crazy that he's not even nominated. But he's
the
still
man's
got what?
top goal scorer, isn't he, in Saudi?
Oh, is he? I haven't
They
followed
bought all
Saudi
them
football
players,
myself.
and 38-year-old Ronaldo still outscoring them all.
He is something else, Ronaldo, but he's in such good shape that he can keep going to this in his 40s.
He's going a bit. He is going a bit. You can see, but he's still play at a high level. Still getting the Portugal side, ain't he?
Yeah, still playing for Portugal, and I
I
guess that's why
realised the
like
other day it
people.
was Roberto Martinez is the Portugal manager.
Yeah, he left Belgium, didn't he? Went to Portugal when
Yeah.
after the. Which is crazy, really, because he was awful. He did awful with Belgium. That Belgian team, I don't know how they didn't win anything either. When they had sort of De Bruyne and Mertens, and I mean Lukaku was a bit of a hit and miss player, but they had a good team. Tillemans
Yeah,
in
but
there,
people
I
say
really
that
rate.
people say that as well. Like if you really, really, really look at that Belgium team, that everyone was like, man, they got to win something. It's dog shit.
I don't
It's
know
shit.
about that. I mean, if you look at their defense, right, they had Company, Courtois, Vertonghen, Alderweireld. Like that is a good back. I can't
And
remember the fourth
Vertonghen and
person.
Alderweireld were average players. They ain't world class
They were good in
players.
their prime. I thought they weren't world class. No, not world class. But I thought they were decent in their prime.
And then you got Fellaini. What's his name? Alex Witzel.
Yeah,
Mertens is
Witzel.
not world class. Lukaku,
I've
like you
really
said, is
rated
hit and miss.
Mertens. He's hit and miss.
If
Yeah.
you really, really look at that team, there's maybe 2, 3. De Bruyne and company, world class. The rest are just average.
Courtois, I'd say Courtois world class.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. Courtois. Yeah. I'd give him that as well. So you got 3.
Yeah, this is the problem is with international football is that other than like Brazil, I would even if you look at the Argentina team, right, that won the World Cup. I mean, I wouldn't say that they've got a squad full of world class players.
No, not at all.
Like their
Not
defense
at all.
and their goalkeeper, I don't. So with countries, you're never going to get like a Man City or a Real Madrid where you can just buy all the best players. So yeah, I think that at the time Belgium had as good a chance of winning something as any of the international teams. I can only think of France really that had a mental. I mean, France have got a mental squad, like best squad in the world by far.
Yeah, they have.
Their depth is insane as well.
Mm. Right, quick word on FIFA. You wanted to have?
Yeah, look, so it comes out.
Soon?
Is it next week or in a few weeks' time? And I just want to have a little bit of a rant really about this Ultimate Team thing with the women in there, right? But I'm all for them putting the women in the game. I don't mind it at all. There's a lot of people that follow them. It gets a lot of girls into football. I don't mind it. I don't mind them being in there. What I don't like is the fact that they've all been rated like ridiculously high, so people put them in their team. And you've got, like, I don't know if anyone's noticed with the men, what they've done is they've still given them sort of 86, 87s, but their pace has all been shot. They've all got like 82 pace, 71 pace. It's ridiculous, like low pace. And then you've got some of these women, 91 pace. I'm like, all right then, let's see you run alongside like him, Jackson or whatever that's got 79 pace and see who wins in a race. Like it's just they are trying too hard. I think that how they should have done it is yes, put the women in. They shouldn't be allowed in the same team as the men. They should have a separate team, and they should have like what they used to do with the gold cup and the silver cup and stuff. They should have just had a women's one, and you get prizes and stuff for the game if you win tournaments with the women's team. Therefore, people will use them. But I don't want to be playing a team with Messi and Sam Kerr up front. Like it's just not realistic. It's an arcade game now. I just think they've completely gone the wrong way with it. I know you're not getting it, but I've already bought it, so I'm stuck with it.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get it this year, and it's probably one of the reasons I ain't conceding the 90th minute winner on Ultimate Team to 90 rated Sam Kerr. who's apparently stronger than Ibrahimovic.
Yeah, like 94
Who's just
physical or
gonna
something.
who's just gonna bully like a I don't know, just random centre back popped in my Koulibaly. He's a strong guy. Just gonna knock him off the ball. Like I'm same as you. Put women in the game. They was last year, wasn't they? They had the women, but have the leagues and whatnot. Get them into the ultimate team somehow. But don't combine them all together.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
get it. I don't understand.
I had a problem when it was last year. They did it with pro clubs. They had a lot of the the NPCs and the refs and all of that. They had a lot of women in there, and I don't mind the women being in there, but it's just not realistic. Like you don't see a team when the left back is randomly a woman and the rest of the team is male. It's like I do not mind if I have to play with a female team if the whole team's female and it's sort of realistic and I win rewards for the game or whatever. That's fine. Doesn't bother me. But when you've got like team with 4 men, 6 women, whatever, it feels like you're just having a kick about in the garden, doesn't it? Because that's what it is.
Alexia Putellas, I don't know who that is. It's a woman who plays for Barcelona. Is rated higher than Lionel Messi.
It's
and Lewandowski, Harry Kane, Benzema.
Yeah, Can anyone tell me? Can any of these developers tell me that they are a better player than any of the men? Like who makes these ratings up? It's just the people put them in the team. These players are going to be going for 200,000-300,000.
I do understand what they've done. Like they have obviously tried to make the women. That woman in the women's game is the fastest player in there, so she would have 90 odd pace or something. Mm-hmm. But you can't transfer that over. That's not how
you can't. Works. You can't put them in the same team as the men and then compare the cards because in comparison, the men should be, because they're stronger. You cannot tell me that Sam Kerr is stronger than Koulibaly. Like you just can't tell me that. So I just think that they should have kept them separate, put them in, entice people to use them by offering up rewards or packs or whatever. But they've proper forced this, and I'm going to play it because I've pre-bought it, so I'm going to play it. But if I'm getting bullied off the ball by Sam Kerr, I won't be playing it for long.
So they're trying to. We'll talk about it quickly, the women's, because we had a little thing about it on WhatsApp. So we'll just quickly talk about women's football as we're on the subject. Just stop forcing it.
Yeah.
99% of men, if you gave them the choice, an ultimate team next year to have women in their team or to combine with men, they would say no. If you want women to play FIFA, like I said, just make their own thing. And they can choose as well if they want to play with men and women. Like we can choose now if we want to play with the men and the women. Just don't have to combine them. There's no need for it.
But the women that follow the women's leagues probably don't know who a lot of the men are, or because they don't follow it. They'd rather just have the women in their team because that's what they watch, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And it's nice because I know a little bit about women's football. I try to follow Arsenal women as much as I can. I don't very much, but I know the players are. I wouldn't mind having a quick kick about with that team in FIFA. But I don't want to have to put Beth Mead up front with Bukayo Saka or whatever, or Gabriel Jesus. No, it's just not for me.
I've got no time for the women's game anymore. I'll be real honest with you. It's doing my nutting. Like I tried watching, not the World Cup. I watch the finals and stuff, and I hope they do well. And I do hope they earn loads of money. But just stop ramming it down our throats. I don't want to watch it.
I said this to you, I think, the other day. I watched the Sideman YouTube All Stars charity game on YouTube, along with millions of other people. And you know what? Okay, I'm exaggerating a bit, but the quality wasn't that far away. Like it was closer in quality, the women's game to that, than it was the women's to the men's game. Like that's the best way for me to describe it. And it's fine because it's like an equal playing field, and it's still competitive, and that's why I don't mind watching the women's game because the teams are competitive because they're of the same sort of quality. But yeah, I just think that it is being sort of force fed. Every week there's a new story about it, and you know what? If I'm on TikTok and there's a compilation of highlights from the Women's Champions League final, I've seen that goal from I can't remember who it was for Barcelona a few years ago, that Champions League final from way out. Decent goal, that. Keeper probably should have saved it, but it was a good goal. I don't mind watching that. Like, but it's when they're like, oh, because she scored from 40 yards, she's better than Prime Yaya Toure. It's like, no. Prime Yaya Toure was shooting against Buffon, not against whoever this keeper. Like, it's just not comparable. Just keep it as its own thing, and people enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%. Just keep it separate. It doesn't need to be the same or compared. I sound probably like sexist, but I'm not. If play football all you like, earn loads of money. I don't have to watch it.
I do support it. I really do. I just think that they need to let it happen naturally instead of trying to force it. That's all.
But I get made to feel bad if I don't watch it because they're like, I thought you like football. Why aren't you watching the women's? Because they're women. It's just not very good. That's all. I don't want to watch it. I don't have to make me feel bad about it. I don't enjoy it, so I'm not going to watch it.
And that's the thing as well. You've not got you're not supporting any of the teams. Like, all right, you think you'd support England, but at the end of the day, if you support England and England win something, that's just going to be thrown back in our faces. Oh, but the men, they couldn't win anything. The men weren't playing against prime Ronaldinho and prime Ronaldo. Sorry, the women weren't. It's thrown back in our faces when the women win things, and I want them to win things, but just treat it for what it is, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes, we won't go into the pay thing, I don't think.
No, it's not before we get cancelled.
Yeah.
We had a question, didn't we, from Balan, who's not here obviously today, that I wanted to touch on, and obviously the Germany manager sacked the other day after that embarrassing loss to Japan. Klopp has been linked. Who are we thinking is going to get that job?
I could see Klopp doing it. I could see him going because I think he's kind of done everything at Liverpool, isn't he? I don't know if he wants to stay there and be part of the new rebuild that's going on at the moment, or leave that to someone else now. He's done his job. Maybe if Salah goes in, Klopp might follow. I could see him doing it, and I could see him leaving Liverpool.
I could see him doing it. If I was Klopp, I would eat that up. Like, he's of an age now where he's not old, but he's reached sort of the back end of probably his management career. Like, he's probably in the last 15 years or so of it. I would be thinking international management now. He's got a chance to manage his country at a point where he's still considered one of the best managers in the world. A few more seasons of Liverpool not qualifying for the Champions League, and he'll lose that sort of shine that he's got. I think that now is a great time to do it. And Germany haven't won anything in a while. It's a really good time for him to go to Germany, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think, especially with what's going on at Liverpool at the moment, like I said, they've looked all right this season, but they are in a transitional period where they're having to rebuild a bit. And I think he might just leave it to someone else. He's done his job there. He's won the Premier League. Yeah. He's won a Champions League. What else is he going to do? They ain't going to win it. I don't think the Premier League for a good few years. They need a proper good rebuild.
Yeah,
and I think if Salah goes, it might. If they get rid of Salah in January or whenever the Saudi window opens, I think he could be. Yeah. I think he might follow him.
Yeah,
not to Saudi, but I think he'll probably take the German job.
Yeah, you imagine it goes to Saudi. So, but if Klopp doesn't take it, who else do you think could take that job?
I don't really know who there would even be after, to be honest, because Germany like a little random, don't they? Like, there's probably loads of German managers. I have no idea who they are. But
what's that one that got sacked from Bayern? Nagelsmann.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Possibly. But there's going to be loads, isn't there, that we have no clue who they are, that are like a Thomas Frank over here. Yeah. But in Germany, people might be looking at.
I mean, I don't know who the Leipzig manager is at the moment, but they always seem to be rated for their managers and their players, really, Leipzig, because they're like, I would say, like, they're a bit like the new Dortmund, aren't they? Like, Dortmund is still around, but Leipzig seem to get all of the good players, good young managers and stuff, and then they just get looted or get raided and then have to build again. They're a bit like
Who done really well last year in the German league? Was it like Union Berlin or something?
Yeah, they're in the Champions League, I think, for the first time.
Yeah, I think they done really well, didn't they? I have no clue where their manager is. They might be looking at him. Leverkusen? Possibly. Is it Xabi Alonso at Leverkusen?
Yeah, Xabi Alonso.
they might be looking at him.
Yeah.
You
I'd
never
like to
know.
be interested to see who the odds are on. But yeah, I would say that Klopp definitely has to be the favourite. But Nagelsmann doesn't have a job at the moment. That would be the easier choice.
Yeah, but Germany can't be short of a few bob if they want to pay off Klopp's contract.
I wonder how long he's got left. Is he near the end or?
I don't think he's got long, is he? Because he said when he joined that he'd only do 4 years, is it, or something like that?
Yeah, 4 years.
But that was definitely more than 4 years ago. So he must have signed a new one.
Might have signed an extension. Yeah, I do think that there's a high chance that could happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will. I think that's probably about it then for the day. Baron will be back next week.
We have time, is it? Yeah. Yeah, Baron will be back next week. Football's back next week, so we'll have plenty to talk about. I can't wait, honestly. It's been an absolute drag this week. And that's why everyone's gone on holiday, because there's just literally nothing to watch. Plenty to talk about next week. We'll be back Monday, probably Monday evening again, 8 o'clock. We'll try and keep to that time so you know when we're live. No FPL show this week because there's nothing's happened since my last one. But there will be one the week after. I think I'm going to use my free hit or wild card, so it would be an interesting little review show after next week's games. But yeah, that's it from us.
We'll say, as you're not on Thursday, me and Tom will be. This Thursday, 8 p.m. We're going to do our combined 11s, but we're going to ask social media to pick the teams. And we have to have at least 5 players from one of the teams.
Exciting new show there that Billy and Tom are doing. All of our socials are in our bio, our Twitch bio, our YouTube descriptions. Get on social media, look out for the post, and vote for who you want to see in those teams. Okay, brilliant. That's it from us. So we will see you. Well, Billy will see you Thursday, but I will see you next week.
Yeah. Football feast, this the football feast, extra podcast, football feast, extra podcast, playing soccer, grab your keys, playing soccer, time to meet, playing soccer, time to greet, they been to talk a lot, okay, playing soccer, get the keys, playing soccer, let's get it, playing soccer, let's go, football podcast.